getting a set for first pitch, and Gooby, you say Kikuchi pitched maybe his best game as an Angel last time out. He's pitched well enough to earn a win in just about every start. He hasn't gotten one yet this season.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't got a ton of run support, but I'll tell you, he's always going out and making improvements. That last time out you mentioned, his fastball was 95, 96 consistently. You know his slider's getting better. He's getting better and getting closer to that arm slide. He was so successful with the Astros the year before with the 5-1 with an ERA in the 2. So he's getting there, more consistently throwing strikes. He just needs a few runs early scored so he can go out there and even go deeper in the ball game because he's got really good stuff. It's a very, very potent offense that the Padres are going to be showing up against him today. But that being said, he's a guy that can dominate anybody in lineup.
The early run support would be key, certainly. But for him, Gooby, the last 2 starts, what has been key? First pitch strikes.
First pitch strikes. And when he gets ahead of the count, then they're not sitting on his fastball. He has to throw for a strike, or he has to throw that backdoor slider, which becomes towards the barrel of the bat. And you see the difference as far as throwing that first pitch strike up to 71%. And his walk percentage is down. So those gift base runners have dropped down for him. He's had to go in the middle of the plate when he's falling behind in the count early. So it gives him a number of pitches that are going to be able to get batters out. Ride that fastball above the zone. I love when he has that ride upstairs. The slider down and in. The changeup. Also his curveball. I think his changeup could be a good big play today against this lineup for the Padres. But if there's one guy he's got to be really, for me, aware of is Tatis Jr., who hits breaking pitches exceptionally well. Even though his batting average is a little lower against breaking pitches as compared to fastball, slugging percentage over 600 versus breaking pitches. So that slider's going to have that good depth going down and in.
Well, if you're facing Tatis Jr., Gooby, and he's ahead in the count, that gives him an opportunity to utilize those off-speed pitches or the breaking pitches a little bit more.
And then I would go to that outside part of the plate or even try to ride that fastball above the strike zone because down and in is the pitch that he hits pretty well, but the slider has been so much better. We go back to his last 2 starts usage at 40%. Opponent's batting average under 160 with 7 strikeouts. He's recorded 17 outs with that slider. A lot of them have been down early in the season. Maybe the slider got a little bit more of the strike zone. That's an out pitch when he throws it just slightly above or below the strike zone and get those edges or shadows with that all day long.
So Kikuchi's most successful outings are utilizing the breaking pitches. However, this is an interesting thing to watch, Gooby. The Padres are 3rd in baseball against the breaking pitches. So what do you think?
You know what? I faced guys who were really good against sinkers. Didn't matter because it's still, if he has his breaking ball going, his slider, it doesn't matter. I mean, they can be hit it well, and I mentioned Tatis Jr. hits it very well. Machado hits a breaking ball very, very well. Arise hits everything really, really well, too. And, Jackson Merrill, same thing. Doesn't matter. If you make your good quality spin on that slider down and in below the strike zone, it'll still be effective.
Well, just a second ago, you also mentioned the velocity on his fastball. It was up a tick in his last time out against the Toronto Blue Jays. Certainly maybe going against your former team might have something to do with that, maybe?
It could possibly do, but I think he's getting back to that arm slide. It's a little bit higher up where he's getting more ride on his fastball. When his fastball is down, it gets hit a little bit. When it's upstairs and has that ride above the strike zone towards the outside part of the plate, it's a very, very effective pitch. So he has that upper part of the strike zone fastball, down and in slider. He can backdoor the curveball in the outside part, which makes his 4-seam fastball better with that ride away.
All right,
Start's not too bad for Yusei Kikuchi, but he hasn't won one yet. Trying to do that here tonight.
Yeah, just trying to get some run support in this game. It's going to be a tough one going against King, but Kikuchi's been throwing the ball well. When you go back to the last couple starts, it's been really, really good. For me, Kikuchi, to be successful here tonight, is finished with that tight slider and use that 4-seamer on the inside part of the plate, especially against a lot of these right-handed batters trying to get their arms extended against him. That ride on the 4-seamer.
It's Fernando Tatis Jr. right away for the Padres. He's their leadoff hitter. And it's Arise and Machado. Not for the faint of heart at the top of this order for the Padres. And the first pitch from Kikuchi. That's called a ball.
How is that not a strike? All-around player. Showed him in the defensive side, a phenomenal. He's won a Gold Glove down in the outfield back in 23, but he can run the bases well with 8 stolen bases and a lot of power.
Hitting .320 as well. That's the 3rd best in the National League. He swings and misses for strike 3.
Another slider. And the defense behind Kikuchi, especially now he's really been pounding the strike zone late. You got Jaime Paris out in center field, a new position for him this season. In this spacious center field at Petco Park, got a lot of room to run, especially with Soler out in right field, dealing with that groin strain a little bit, so he's going to have to cover a little bit more ground. But he's been able to be really solid off the reads of the bat the baseball off the bat consistently in center field.
He has been very good. He's actually the team's leader in defensive runs saved overall. He has 5 between second base and center field. So Kyron Paris has held his own in center field, especially. In a nice catch up against the wall last night against Adley Rutschman. 1 ball, 1 strike on Luis Arraez. Well, we know Arraez is not going to be up there for very long. He is looking to put the ball in play somewhere at some point very soon. He doesn't walk, and he almost never strikes out. He has only fanned 3 times this year. Whew. And there you go, on cue. It's a ball in play from Arraez. As on the infield, Moncada makes the catch, 2 outs. They've made a second baseman out of him large. And he's playing short tonight. He hits this one deep to right center. It's Paris back for it. It's in the same spot where Merrill caught Moncada's ball to end the top of the first. Paris gets there to end the home half.
Sinker ball pitcher tonight in Michael King, much like they did over the weekend against the Baltimore Orioles. And Zach Neto with some lengthy ABs against those sinker ball pitchers, some painful ones too. Fouling a bunch of balls off of his lower extremities, his shin, the back of his calf, some bruising to go along with it. He was going to test out a higher shin guard during batting practice this afternoon. But I asked Ron Washington about why he just happens to be fouling all those baseballs off of his lower extremities. He said he's spinning off the ball a bit, but he's facing all those sinker ball pitchers, much like tonight. You just have to make an adjustment, get off the plate a little bit, so all those balls that are hitting him have to find a way to keep it fair. That's what Baltimore had. They just kept the ball in on him because they know if they get the ball over the plate, something might happen. And one quick update for you guys on Mike Trout. He did run today on the Alter G treadmill. This is just stage 1 of his progression. Hasn't done anything more than walking before that. He's not trying to hit a time on that treadmill, just as long as he feels like running. The plan was to run and do some light sprints. That was today.
It just rolled right into the dugout. It was somebody else.
See, he threw his timing off of the hitter. That was all part of the plan.
Elias Diaz at the plate here. Padre catcher. And off the end of his bat, he pops one up. It's Tim Anderson on the infield for out number 2.
See how quickly he get that third out. It'd be great to see him play more than that.
Padres end up getting lumped in with the Mariners for their geographic rival. They'll play the Mariners this weekend while the Dodgers and Angels are playing.
It's because they share the same spring training site, I guess.
Rivalry born in Peoria, or wherever they are. Strike 3 called to Cronenworth to end the inning. It's going to be painful on those types of swings and misses, especially. There's a one-hopper right to him.
Of course, right to him.
As Lockridge is the first out of the inning, but there's a rhythm to swinging through a fastball. That's why on the fastball, he's not going to feel that same pain. But just the nature of being out in front and being off balance on the off-speed pitches creates that pain in that thumb.
Your wrists and hands when you're out in front as compared on the fastball, where you're on time on your swing. It's a completely different beast.
So there's going to be some agonizing swings and misses at times for Moncada. The Angels don't expect it really to worsen, though. They think he's going to be fine as long as he can handle the pain that might come every now and then.
I mean, he's having such a good time in the season where he's hit the baseball. Even that first at bat, you would think that was going to be at least a double.
And 2 strikes on Tatis. So he lifts one out to right. Easy play for Soler. He's going to come in for it now and into a slide. He makes the catch. So 2 outs, 6 straight now, retired by Kikuchi as he'll face Arraez in our Kia player profile on Kikuchi working ahead.
And generally for a lot of pitchers this is the case, but when he's able to get in those pitchers counts, it's complete domination as compared to when he's in those hitters counts well over 300.
I don't think Arraez lets you get into any sort of count.
I was going to say, it's going to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 pitches at the most.
There's a strike to
And
Arraez.
you know he's mad. He took that pitch right there down the middle of the plate. He goes, I'm not doing that again.
3 consecutive batting titles for Luis Arraez with 3 different teams. There's certainly some history to that.
Well, it's real tough after getting 2 runs as run support. He hasn't got a lot of that this season for Yusei Kikuchi. He's frustrated. Mentioned he is a very good fielding pitcher. Ball slipped out of his hand on the transfer.
He just panicked after that. Inside out swing by third, a base hit, heading home. Bogarts throw on the way from Lugo. He's got a good arm. It's a good throw. And Bogaerts is out.
And I don't think they can challenge that because that throw took him in towards the plate.
There's some contact at home between Bogaerts and d'Arnaud. And the Padres will not challenge a great throw by Matthew Lugo. The ball in play and just execute your pitches within the strike zone.
And it should allow you to throw a lot less pitches because they're going to be up there making contact right away.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Diaz. A little bouncer here, softly hit. Neto's going to have to hurry, even with the catcher running. And Neto gets it there to retire Diaz. 1 out. Cronenworth will bat. His name is Jake. We'll hear from Jack in the box. Kept around. The Padres already have some contracts that are pretty pennies.
Darvish, I think, is about ready to start a rehab assignment himself.
Right to Shotwell. A line drive, double play.
That's how he drew it up.
Had to catch that before it caught him. Padres put up 3 in that inning. 1 of them was earned. The other 2 unearned thanks to the Kikuchi error. And Tatis blasts off here in the bottom of the 5th. Slow bouncer. Anderson gets it to first to retire Arise. 1 out.
The year.
I still think he should have beaten Skeens for it anyway. No balls and a strike. Merrill with a bouncer to first. Shotwell gets it to second. A low throw, but Neto does hold the ball and the bag to retire Machado. You know, Merrill ended up 9th in MVP voting, so he was higher in the MVP vote than he was in the Rookie of the Year vote, because Skeens was behind him for MVP, but not for Rookie of the Year. Well, what's that about? Pick a lane. Either Skeens had the better year, or either Merrill did.
I mean, Merrill, everyday player, too. I mean,
Tigers are 27 and 15. Gleyber Torres had 3 hits and 3 knocked in. So Trey Sweeney. Good pitch there by Kikuchi. The changeup strikes out Bogaerts. He's in 5 innings, but the other 2 runs scored on his own error, which I think should just add to the ERA.
You know what? I agree with that, because as a pitcher too, you want to make the plays. When you don't make the plays, it's your responsibility. So for me, that's their earned runs.
Kikuchi let those 2 get away, and that's a big difference now in this game. The Angels are down by only 1. They've played well in 1-run games largely. Angels have gone 7-2 in their 1-run games this year. Only Cleveland, Kansas City, and Seattle have more 1-run wins in the American League. Well, Ron Washington wasn't terribly
way back from 31.7 degree up to 33.5, working on it.
Broken back ground ball, has some spin on it. Moncada handled it and threw out Sheets.
That is an outstanding play, and Kikuchi right away pointed at Moncada. How great that play was. Spin on the baseball, off balance throw, and a perfect throw to first base.
It was a spinning, bumping ball.
Look how much the ball was spinning away from him.
Sheets tossed it into Plinko.
And a perfect throw.
Moncada, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Diaz. Swing and a miss, strike 3, the changeup again.
When he gets comfortable with it, he'll go back to back, and that's exactly what he did for a strikeout.
Fly ball to left toward the line. Lugo is over. It's a long run, and Lugo makes the running catch.
He's got good skills defensively with a great throwing arm, and then runs that one down.
It's a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to be watching the highlights on a loop tonight.
Yes.
But speaking of, Yusei Kikuchi, he was on the mound tonight. Still didn't get his first win. He's going to take the team win for sure, but he turns in a quality start tonight.
Yeah, Eric, I mean, there was a lot of things to like about that. Obviously, he's played defensively, gave him 2 runs there, but I thought his fastball average velocity between 95, 96 all game long. And I love the fact that he ended up using his changeup as the game progressed. Same thing with his curveball. His slider, solid. A couple times I thought he got around his slider. That's where a couple baseballs were hit. But other than that, his stuff was really good. He's getting better and better as that arm gets closer to that arm slot where he was last year at 42 degrees, about 33.5. He's been over the last 2 starts, but a lot to like about that. I mean, he's a great fielding pitcher. He is a great fielding pitcher. It's one of those things where he probably didn't realize he had a little more time, a little more to be able to relax. But sometimes you get that baseball, it's slipping out of your hand. You try to be real quick, and it was a low throw right at the runner going down the line.
It ends up not making any difference. The Angels come back to win this one. But we talked in the pregame show, Gooby, just about how difficult it is to get the Padres out, particularly with 2 outs. And early on, they were collecting hits and runs against Kikuchi with 2 outs.
It was amazing when you look at it. The first 3 innings, that's when the Padres did some damage against Kikuchi. He had thrown 23 pitches to get to those 2 outs, and then he had 36 of them after that. So they had 5 hits with 2 outs on them. I mean, we showed it. We talked about it in the pregame show, and you can see why there's no panic. But it also we talked about when you get to that point as a pitcher, you can't relax. You're not through the inning because they are going to battle. You're going to fight every single pitch you throw. So you got to make good quality pitches, just like you did to get those first 2 outs in the inning. You have to throw that same type of mentality. But this Padre team, you see why they're going to be a danger all season long. You see right there, that was that play. He had more time. The ball slipped out of his hand, but sometimes you don't have that good grip on there. And the Padres, with their good base running and everything else, able to take that lead on that one mistake by Kikuchi. Still end up being a quality start, although that's one of those ones that you scratch your head on a quality start. It's only 2 earned runs. Those 2 unearned runs were because of Kikuchi not making a play that he will make every single time normally.
Yeah, 4 runs overall for Kikuchi, just the 2 earned. The 2 hits, or 3 hits, excuse me. No, 2 hits in the first inning with the 2 outs. Didn't do any damage. It was the 3rd inning, and then, of course, the error, which we just saw. What do you think is going through his mind when he's not getting that 3rd out immediately after the first 2?
Sometimes, I always joke around when you fall, you just feel like you kind of like you shrug your shoulders. You feel like you're through the inning. But, I mean, the reports are that San Diego doesn't quit after 2 outs. They're going to put the ball in play. They don't have a ton of power so far. I mean, Tatis hit that one ball out. That was 111 off the bat. But other than that, they've been putting the ball in play, base hit, doubles, and triples, not a lot of home runs. So they're going to make contact. You just got to go throw the exact same pitches you got to get the 2 outs and not try to do anything fancy when you get the 2 outs.
Well, it'll be interesting against a guy with lots of contact in Jose Soriano tomorrow. But first, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to hear some post-game thoughts from the skipper, Ron Washington, who's certainly happy with the fight he saw from his ball club tonight at Petco.
He's in that situation, and he's going to come around. He's too good of a baseball player not to come around. We just got to make sure we keep his mind calm and keep the work going, and then things will start falling into place. But I tell you what, we certainly needed what he gave to us tonight.
What do you think about this 2 really good closers that you've beaten pretty good the last week? What do you think about the way the guys have done that?
Well, we grind some great at-bats against that kid. He throws so hard you don't have a whole lot of time to make a decision on whether you're going to swing or not. And we did a good job of staying off of balls that was out of the zone. And that gave us the opportunity where Taylor came up and got us the victory.
What did you think Kikuchi tonight?
I thought he was good, except for that one botch where he threw the ball away at first base. He was very upset with himself, and he went out there, and we needed that 6th inning. He went out there and got through that 6th inning quick. So he competed hard all night. Other than that, usually when you catch that ball, I always see him run it over there. But I think when he jumped and he sort of bobbled it, one thing about the pitcher and the first baseman, they're the only guys that can catch the ball and look down the line. So even though he did that, if he'd have looked down the line, he'd have seen Bogarts wasn't even out of the box fully yet, and he could have ran it over there. But, hey, he went back out there and gave us that quick 6th inning, and the boys stayed in the fight tonight, and we came back and won the ball game.
This is now 4 pretty good comebacks you had, including the one against the Giants. So what does that do for the confidence,
Well, I don't think we ever lost our confidence. It was just about sustaining and being consistent. It's in us. We just got to find a way to sustain and be consistent. We're starting to figure things out in that 6th and 7th inning. Every now and then you're going to give up a run because you're the type of team you're playing against. But at least we're not giving up 5 and 6 anymore so far. But, our confidence, it never wavered. That does a lot for you. But again, the game is about being able to sustain and have some consistency.
Earlier today, you talked about what you see from Lugo at the plate. What did you see from him defensively today, especially on that throw in third?
Well, you know, we needed him to make that throw. And, I mean, that was an easy throw. But you get a lot of guys, sometimes they come up with that easy throw and they throw it offline. But he threw it down, and Zorno made one heck of a play by making sure he got that ball and stayed in front of the plate. So that was a huge play right there.
Next question.
All right.